It's red, it's got 2 seats, it makes a fabulous noise and it goes very fast. It must be a Ferrari sports racer. Let's hop on and go for a ride. The man driving this Ferrari is Derek Bell. He first drove for the factory back in 1969, so he had the chance to get to know about the magic of Maranello and its master, Enzo Ferrari.
You're part of a legend, and I suddenly realised that we have been touched by Ferrari. I mean, Michael Schumacher never met Ferrari, you know, but I knew him really well. And although I wasn't a great name with Ferrari, I had a year and a half with them, and it was the leanest year probably of their history. But it was just something very, very special. There'll never be anybody like Ferrari. There'll never be another name, there'll never be another manufacturer. And it conjures up amazing sort of glamour and danger and, I mean, just everything.
Of all the Ferraris Derek has driven, he's in no doubt about his favourite.
This one here that I'm driving here, I drove at Daytona early in the 24 hour and we led it for 10 hours. And I guess that was the nicest Ferrari I've ever driven. Absolutely unbelievable.
This then is the 333 SP, Ferrari's latest sports racer. But the Ferrari connection with sports racing cars goes back a long time. In those days, the prancing horse appeared not on the nose of the cars, but on the side. And the cars were Alfa Romeos, like this 8C2600. Enzo Ferrari's sports car ambitions were formed by his days as Alfa Romeo's racing team manager in the 30s, and by the classic Italian road race, the Mille Miglia. The Mille Miglia, a 1,000-mile dash along public roads, involved the whole Italian nation, and not just as spectators. There wasn't an amateur driver in the whole country who didn't dream of competing in the race, and there wasn't a manufacturer who didn't want to win it. Ferrari started building cars in 1947, and by 1953, when these scenes were filmed, his cars had won it for 5 years in succession. Number 547 was driven by Giannino Marzotto, a wealthy amateur driver who had already won the race once for Ferrari in 1950. In 1953, his car was a 340mm. The factory considered it worn out because it had raced in and won the Giro di Sicilia. It was put into storage at Maranello, but it was taken out and prepared for Marzotto. It took him and co-driver Marco Corsa to Ferrari's 6th successive victory. Today, the car still carries the number 547, indicating its start time in the 1953 race. At Goodwood in 1997, it was driven by Umberto Camellini. After the Marquis de Portago's Ferrari crashed into the crowd during the 1957 event, killing the crew and 11 spectators, the race was never run again. But the excitement of the Mille Miglia and the cars which raced in it is too strong to forget. And today, the historic racers still return to Brescia, the Mille Miglia's starting point, every summer.